Going on. I'm in the YouTubian abyss right now, and I see this Dr. Umar video where he's talking about his school updates. Now, I can, I agree with a lot of stuff that Umar says, and some of the stuff I don't necessarily agree with, like all the Pan-African stuff. But that's another video for another day. But I really feel like he cares about his people. He wants the best for them. And I think where he shines brightest is in psychology, especially talking about the medicine and the education that they're giving these kids in public schools. Like they're not getting what they really need. And I really respect him on, and in that light of things. But it's some stuff that I don't really totally agree with him on. But I think he really wants the best for his people. And I'm curious to see what he's going to say about his school update, because I've been following him about maybe 10 years, and it's been kind of going back and forth over that time. It could be longer, I don't know. But I'm going to check it out and get my one too.
I'm holding the entire culture accountable for letting it go on.
Bob, fatherless black boys ain't hip hop.
Bullshit.
Your job.
Bullshit.
That is your job.
Oh,
You can't
so
put that on hip hop. Can't put that on hip hop.
I don't know. I guess I got in the wrong part of the video. I'm going to speed it up a little bit, see if I can get to that part where he's talking about the school. Because that other dude he's talking to sounds a little bit too emotional for me.
The door contractor. I want to get some new doors. The doors we got are good. They're secure.
The status of the school.
Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey. What is the status of the school? Well, tomorrow morning I got to meet with a door contractor. I want to get some new doors. The doors we got are good. There's.
I'm just laughing. The name of the school: Marcus Garvey, Frederick Douglass, O.J. Simpson, Cuba Gooding Jr. Man, you could keep going with the names you got, man.
Secure, but they're old. And since the school is 15 years old, physically the school is 15 years old. We've had it for 5 of those 15. I want to give it a fresh look. So I want fresh doors. We got another paint job, another layer of paint. We got some floors to cover up. Once we cover up the floors, put that other layer of paint, it's time for inspection. We at the finish line. So I hope to be applying for the inspection before summer ends. And some might say, why not next week? Something always comes up every time you at the finish line. Something always comes. Some little fix this, but we right there, So my thing is, let's get the building permitted before the end of the summer so we can have a grand opening probably for Kwanzaa. But we're going to start educating the children next summer, though, because we need time to get ready. We can't do it that fast.
Sure.
But we right there. We dancing around the finish line. And, people always ask me, so what's going to be the date? I can't give a date. I done had like 6 dates, and I violate every date. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because some...
I mean, yeah, because it takes a lot to open up a school of that magnitude. You got to get accredited, certified, all that type of stuff, especially for what he wants to do. Be totally separate from state. So it's going to take a lot of stuff, but maybe he didn't account for little stuff popping up here and there, things like that. But, it's just, I don't know, sometimes with him too, like it's always something,
One thing this has taught me, when you institution building, don't give out no dates till the institution done. The biggest mistake I made was I thought I could predict.
Yep, totally agree with him right there. Don't put out dates unless you're ready to stand by the date.
Nah, wait till you completely done and then give out a date. But we right there at the finish line. Floors, walls, and doors, and we done.
Before you move on from the school, quickly, what's going to be your role? Because I know that you're all over the world. You're speaking to many people.
Listen, the more subscribers we have, the better the guests get.
Man, I don't know what's up with this dude, this Debo Samuel looking dude, but let me see if I can skip past him.
Please hit subscribe. Let's get back into the show.
I'm going to be the principal.
Okay, so you're
Which
actually
means
going to
I
be
won't
there?
be able to travel as much. Yeah, I'm physically
Got
there.
you, got
because
you.
you got to remember, we're going to be tuition based.
Yeah.
And so when people send their children to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, they're assuming that they're going to get to experience Dr. Umar in the flesh.
Yeah.
So if I'm not there, number one, that's dangerous because I'm not sure my teachers are teaching. You follow me?
Yep.
And number two, they don't really get the Ephi Tunde experience, right? So I'm going to be the principal, and I'm also going to be the history teacher.
And is that going to be your plan for like a long time, or are you going to kind of do that and
as
then
schools come,
Yeah.
as we get more schools, I'm going to have to fall back, and I'm going to be more of a superintendent
Got you.
than the principal. You follow? But I still plan to be the history teacher, even if I have to do so virtually.
How about psychology? Would you be involved in that as well? Because I know.
Well, I probably will be the school psychologist as
Yeah.
well, although we will not have a bona fide special
My man Umar gonna be the janitor too, man. He got all the roles in the school.
ed program. We will have programs for disabled children, but special ed is federal, which means that's public dollars. We don't take public dollars, so we will not have a public special ed program.
Got you. Thank you. Okay.
What's your views on religion in school?
Well, we will have one of our bona fide curriculums will be African spirituality. You don't have to practice it, but you must study it. So if you say, I want my son to go to FDMG, but he cannot learn about the ancestors, he cannot learn about the way African people worship God, he can't come to the school. No child is exempt from any aspect of the curriculum. And the reason I'm bringing this up is good. I'm glad you asked the question, because I've had supporters who intend to send their children to the school, but they want to exempt them from the African spirituality curriculum. Can't happen. They don't have to practice. They don't have to pour libation, but they must know why we do it. You follow me?
Yeah.
They have to get the instruction, but they don't have to participate in the practice. I had one father, he's a big supporter. He said, Doctor,
I mean, another thing with this African spirituality thing, I mean, a lot of people, especially on this side of the Eastern Hemisphere, especially in the U.S., so-called black people, they don't understand or grasp the concept of when you're in Africa. Africa has so many different ethnic groups and belief systems that they don't agree on everything. So what Umar is talking about, some African spirituality, like it's just different ethnic groups that believe in different things. So that's somewhat of a contradiction right there for me.
I'm a Christian. I cannot allow my son to learn anything about African spirituality. I said, well, he won't be able to come to the school. I said, it's a shame. And you need to check your hypocrisy. He said, what do you mean? I said, your son go to a public school, right? He said, yeah. They're being taught to worship white people. They're being taught about homosexuality and transgenderism.
Yeah.
They're being taught that African people can achieve nothing in the world. They're being special educated, medicated, mistreated. You was okay with all that. Look, you was okay with all that. But you're not okay with them learning about how their ancestors worship God, a system you know nothing about. He had to pause and step back.
Yeah.
He probably still not going to send him to the school. But I just want
Again, Africans follow a lot of different, spiritual belief systems. It's not one size fits all. Like Africa, people have some misconception like Africa's like a lot of Africans do the same stuff. Africa is a big place, different countries, different tribal ethnic groups, all in one place. Like it's like what he's talking about is more so along the lines of like Pan-African, believe like all are one. So you can't bring your ethnic group beliefs or whatever have you into that way of thinking. It needs to be one. Like they just believe in like throw all that stuff out the window. We just have one train of thought. That's it, which is virtually impossible because everybody has their own way of thinking, their own beliefs. Somebody might not believe what somebody else believes, so.
to see the hypocrisy of a black man telling a black man, your son can't come to my school because you don't want them to learn about African spirituality when he goes to a school where he's taught everything about demonology.
So would you be okay with sending your child to a school, hypothetically, in that same situation where, let's say, like you really want to send your child to this school, but they teach whatever it is, the homosexuality, whatever it is. Are you okay with that? Or would you actually want that your child to be exempt from learning those things?
Well, are we comparing homosexuality with African spirituality?
No. I don't want to compare it. I'm just using that because that's the example that you brought up.
Umar was about to go off on my man.
But you
Right.
take away that stuff. Let's say it was a Christian
Okay.
school that you really wanted to send your
Okay.
child to, but
It-
you wanted them exempt. Like, would you be okay with them being like, you're
Is it
not?
a Pan-Africanist Christian academy?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it is a Pan-Africanist Christian academy, I know God gonna look like my children.
Mm-hmm.
So although I may not necessarily agree with some of the religious beliefs, I can tolerate it because at least I know they won't be taught self-hate through the imagery.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for that video. Like I said, Umar brings up some great points, you know, and I think the excuse me, the interviews were asking some great questions, but like I said, with the Pan-African and stuff, like it's too many different ethnic groups, too many belief systems. Like that's the whole Pan-Africanist thing is unrealistic to me, you know, and it never works. Like we're being on one accord with all these groups. But like I said, I hope he's successful in opening up his school, and I feel like it can benefit a lot of children, you know, a lot of our people. So. You know, with that said, that's just my one too. And another thing too, Umar's a funny dude to me. He definitely has a lot of charisma. He's a funny guy. But that's my one too.